This is big breaking emergency news. Travel restrictions are now being put in place, and quarantine areas are now being set up, and travel warnings and travel alerts are also being issued. Right? This is very serious, and they're taking this to the next level. Right? Everyone needs to be on high alert and be prepared to dig in. Right? Be ready to see shutdowns of the supply chain, shutdowns of businesses, shutdowns of travel. All these things are coming, and they are being announced in multiple different countries right now. So let's dive into the details here really quick. Please just hit it up for me down there. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple videos a day, keeping you guys updated on all this big urgent news. All right, so multiple different countries just announced travel restrictions for entering or exiting their country. This is now going on due to the Mpox, or aka also known as monkeypox. This is very similar to what we saw in 2020. These restrictions that are going into play, and some countries are even talking about quarantines happening to enter their country from certain areas, right? So very, very similar narrative is being presented to us right now, and everyone knows what's going on. Everyone knows. Everyone can see what's happening, and everyone needs to be ready and prepared for what they're going to try to do next. All right, so multiple different countries. Let's just dive into it. Across the globe are now issuing travel restrictions. Okay, first we have the EU. The EU is urging to issue travel warnings as Mpox risk in Africa grows. It says the European health authorities have advised EU countries to issue travel warnings for regions affected by the impacts after the outbreak was declared a global emergency by the World Health Organization. The European Center for Disease Prevention and Control warned on Friday that Europe is likely to see more imported cases due to the virus's spread in several African nations. However, they also noted that ongoing transmission within Europe remains low. This update follows the detection of a new Mpox variant in Sweden, marking the first case of this strain outside of Africa. Bruno Ciancio, head of surveillance at the ECDC, expressed concern over the worsening situation in Africa, particularly in Congo, right? And it says to prevent further spread in Europe, the ECDC emphasized the need for rapid case identification and containment. The agency has also recommended that EU and European Economic Area countries issue travel advice for those visiting areas affected by Mpox. Okay, so this is big, right? They're warning that they're going to have containment areas and quarantine zones, and they're also issuing travel warnings and telling countries that they need to issue their own travel alerts as well. Okay, we also have this in China. Check this out. China to screen arrivals for this this craziness, as Pakistan reports first case of the virus as well. This is all happening today, August 16th, Friday. Okay, it's like clockwork. It's like last week they warned us, it's going off in Africa. We're gonna have to do it. The CDC in Africa is gonna have to do it. And then the CDC in Africa declared the emergency. 24 hours later, WHO declared an emergency as well. And now 48 hours later from that, we have the EU issuing travel alerts, and China as well is having travel screening in another country as well. I'll get to that country in just a second. All right, so what's going on, guys? Is this their big play? Is this going to be the thing that they do? All right, check this out. It says China announced Friday it will begin screening people and goods entering the country for the M over the next 6 months, just 2 days after the WHO sounded its highest possible alarm over the worsening situation in Africa. Okay, so screening people and goods entering the country. So I'm not sure what that even means, but that's what China is announcing, and they're going to keep it going at least for the next 6 months. Okay, and something to note here too, to keep everyone level-headed in all of this. All right, just so everyone knows, in June 2024, there were only 934 new reported cases throughout the world, including Africa, who reported on Monday. Okay? So 900 people in the entire world, even in Africa. They're saying it's 567 people in Africa in June. That's what the WHO just reported in their report on Monday that they just released. Okay? 900 people. And this is, we're declaring a global emergency, intercontinental emergency, and also now we're having travel restrictions as well. I just wanted to put that number out there. Let me know what you think of that number. Okay, 934 people in the entire world, new cases in June. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but that doesn't seem like a big number to me. I don't know. I'm not sure. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm not an expert. I'm not sure if that's a big number or not. Let me know what you guys think, all right? But here is what is being reported for China, and then there's another country as well that's doing similar things. They're talking about quarantining people as well. It says people traveling from countries where the outbreaks have occurred who have been in contact with cases or display symptoms should take the initiative to declare to customs when entering the country, China's Customs Administration said in a statement on Friday. It says vehicles, containers, and items from areas where cases are happening should be sanitized, the statement added. It's like they're doing this again. Once China gets on board with this, then it's over, because they can shut down the entire supply chain from this. This is what was happening constantly, is entire factories would be shut down, okay? All the time. They would come and shut it down. There would be stuff going on there. They would say there's stuff going on. Come in, shut it down. Everyone's quarantined. All the workers are under quarantine. Nobody's working. Factories shut down. That's part of the reason we saw big disruptions in the supply chain in 2020. Okay? So vehicles, containers, and even items are going to be sanitized. So, and they're saying this is related to Pakistan having its first case on Friday as well, and Sweden having a case yesterday. So they're reporting these cases every day now. Okay, it's gonna be like on the TV soon. They're gonna have the counter soon. Okay, like counting the cases of stuff popping up every day. I don't know. Hopefully we don't see that, but it seems like that's what they're getting ready for. Right? So everyone needs to be prepared, be ready, be stocked up, stand strong, stand firm, and get out of these big cities too, because that's where the most restrictions are going to be if they bring this here. Okay. And also another country is issuing travel restrictions. Egypt ups precautions as WHO declares emergency. All right. It says Egyptian health authorities said on Thursday that they're increasing precautions after the WHO declared an emergency. It says the Ministry of Health and Population in Egypt said in a statement that authorities have, quote, activated preventative health measures at Egypt's air and seaports and land crossings in order to prevent the entry of this into the country. The actions include, quote, continuing to raise the level of readiness of quarantine departments at ports of entry. Okay? That's what the Ministry of Health and Population in Egypt just said too. So they are raising the level of readiness of quarantine departments. They're getting the quarantine departments ready to go in case they have to start quarantining people at any port of entry, land, air, or sea. That is what Egypt is warning of right now as well too. Right? So all these countries at the same time are announcing this. What's going on? What's happening? And actually, there was a WHO treaty that was just under negotiation just a few months ago. Okay, they were trying to get it to pass. I don't think it 100% passed, but I think most of the big countries are just adopting the rules anyways. Okay, and one of the things that's going on in here is that they were saying that they will potentially be in charge of the distribution of any type of medications or anything like that. Okay, the WHO will be, and the UN will potentially be in control of the distribution of critical medications, and they're saying that they need to have that control to give it to countries. They're saying it's for equity. Okay, you've heard this term before. They're saying it's for, quote, equity. And they're saying that, oh, these certain countries, they need it more even though they can't pay for it. It's not based on who can buy the medicines during these emergencies. Okay, this is what was in the draft. I made a whole video on this talking about this. And they will decide which countries get which medicines and how much of each medicine and anything like that. They will be the ones distributing it. Okay, so they could say, hey, you guys, you've had enough. You've had your share. It doesn't matter if you are paying for these or you can pay more or you're paying the most or anything like that. It doesn't matter. They have control over means of production, potentially. And they get to decide which country, which people get which medicines or not. It doesn't even matter if you're saying, hey, I have $1 million right here. Please just give me the cure. They will say, no, it's going to this other country because they need their fair share. Even if they aren't able to pay for any of the medicines or anything like that. Okay, they're going to be the ones deciding it. So that is also another thing to be aware of. If something like this does happen, we could potentially see regulatory oversight from WHO itself for any type of medication. Okay, we already saw similar things happen in 2020 where they were, giving recommendations on certain things and certain things not to do. But this plan, this treaty, gives them full control of even the supply chain. That's what half the treaty is talking about, is how they will have control over the entire supply chain pretty much during a global health emergency. Okay, and that could even include things like natural resources as well. Okay, energy, all these things. They could say, hey, we need this energy here because the crisis is worse here, or whatever is going on. They could take over and say, hey, this industry needs to make more of these medicines or more of these whatever. Okay, and there's already been emergency use authorization sent out from the WHO as well. They put out an entire memo just this week, in the past few days. All right, I was reporting on it, where they are asking businesses to submit their emergency use authorization medications for this mpox, okay, so they can be prepared for it and start reviewing different medications preemptively. All right, so this train is rolling, guys. All right, I'm just giving you like the facts of what's going on behind the scenes. This doesn't mean I endorse it. I don't want any of this stuff to happen. I don't want any of this. All right, I have 3 kids. I have a family. All right, I have chickens, a homestead, a dog. All right, I just want my family to live a good life, healthy life, happy life. I don't want to deal with any of this crap, right? Any of this junk. I don't want any of it, right? I just want the life that we all used to live 10 years ago, even just 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I just want the life we were supposed to be living. It's just everything's upside down now. Everything's backward. And the ball is rolling. There's so many different plays and plans that are in motion right now. And it seems like this is one of the big ones that we could see, okay? And this could even potentially affect 2024, okay? November 2024. This could affect later this year if the U.S. starts implementing restrictions around this, okay? And just yesterday, I reported on too how they are sending out continuity of government plans, right? They're sending it out to all the businesses and telling the businesses to be prepared for something just like this, right? They just updated their continuity of government plans, sending it out to all the businesses and telling them to prepare for major disruptions in the supply chain and disruptions in the economy, because they're saying so many people are going to be taken out of the economy. They're going to be forced to stay home and not work, or there's just going to be a lot of people that don't survive and the economy is going to be devastated from it. And they're saying that we could see fuel disruptions, energy disruptions, telecommunication, water. They were warning of all these things in this COG plan that they were just sending out. All right, so have your own continuity of government plan for yourself, for your family. All right, the government they are the biggest preppers on earth. Okay, they prepare for everything, and our government should be preparing for things. All right, that's their job, is to be prepared, be ready for our country. But our job individually is to be prepared for ourselves and be prepared for our family as well, and be ready. All right, so thank you guys. Hope you guys have big blessings for your life, your family. Please just hit it up for me down there. It helps get these warnings out. I appreciate that, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.